Jig. Low again for video 2. I'll just do the 5, 4, 3, 1 thing and then pause 3 seconds for you to turn it on. Thank you, son. Appreciate you. Love you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello. My name is Darrell. I'm the author of the book A Real Witness to Planet Nibiru Crossing and Real Parallel Time Slip, Trusting Yahshua. I put my heart into it. I am an eyewitness. The first video, they're short. I can only get like half-hour segments with this battery. So I'm going to go ahead. I got my clock over here where I can kind of cut it down. There's so much to say. There might be quite a few videos. It's just whatever God wants me to do to get this out, and for the young people, just everybody, about this Planet Nibiru thing, this Zachariah Sitchin deal, you know, with the 12th planet. I'm going to go right into what happened to that day, so that gets out of the way, and then I'll back up from yesterday and try to go over a little bit of telling you what's been going on and stuff. So anyway, back in October, the second week of October 2011, I was delivering a load, owner-operator, working for Trimac Transportation, Branch 46 out of Hayward for 22 years, pulling their tankers. I was hauling a load of latex into STO Company in Glendale, Arizona, and been doing that for about 6.5 years with them. Longer than that, but a 6.5 steady thing where it was 6.5 years straight. Just running from the Bay Area to Arizona. I'd leave at 8 o'clock at night and go halfway and then take a layover and go on in and deliver. So I was on my way back. It was in the afternoon. Just go right into this. Late afternoon. Don't know what time of the week it was or what day it was actually. If I left on Sunday, it could be like a Tuesday, because I would deliver on a Tuesday or Wednesday. It might have been a Tuesday or Wednesday. Anyway, it's not important. I was on my way back empty, and it was a day that was kind of like what we used to call in the Forest Service lightning strike season. A few lightning bolts, lots of heavy like clouds all over, rain cloud, a lot of intense, a lot of moisture in the air. And run along there in Tonopah, Arizona. I'm going along driving home, just relaxed, and then I see this like a column, you know, what seemed to be, on appearance to my size, about that wide, you know, down the road a ways, about a mile or maybe 2 miles. Could have been a little more. It was a strange thing. It went from all the way to the top of the clouds, into the clouds, and directly straight down the road. Now, this is what's happened. So I'm taking myself back to that day. And I was looking at it and noticed it was slightly transparent. It was a gray color, but I don't know. To this day, it still kind of stumps me what it was. I think it was some reflection from the 2 suns that I saw. But it was a darkish, light, dark, sort of gray, but it's like slightly transparent. You're going to sort of, what is this thing? That caught my attention first. Secondly, I looked over to my left, which would be the southwest, and I see the 2 suns. Big suns, our suns. Our sun was getting ready to just about that far from the horizon, from going down for sunset. So I say it was later in the day. And the one sun was in front. The second sun was right behind it, hiding behind it, but just peeked out about 10-15%. You could definitely clearly see it was the 2 suns. So that shook me up. Now I was staying quiet, and I'm just getting relaxed because something's going to happen, and you get that feeling, and I can't stop talking about everything now, but when it was going on, I get really relaxed when this stuff happens, where it's a Bigfoot incident, whatever, hunting treasure, finding interesting stuff, ancient sites. You know, I'm a I don't know if you call it semi. I just don't do as much of it anymore. The freelance archaeologist and treasure hunt. I'm not really into the treasure hunting thing like I was back in the early days of the 80s and 90s and 2006, dinosaur bones. Anyway, let me stay focused on this. I got a tendency just to talk in circles like the Native Americans, brothers and sisters. I'm Hopi, brother to the Hopi. Okay, that's another story. Let me continue on this. We're going down. There's two suns on my left, and I'm going, oh man, that is so cool looking, and it's so odd. But I had been hearing about that since back in 2011. People were seeing the suns in Antarctica, two suns, but they were like far apart. NASA, people in Canada, you know, these were all, you know, seeing these two suns. Well, when I saw them, they were together. And basically what that was, and I'll make this quick, that was another sun, a second sun from our parallel universe, right? Our parallel universe. And I talked to you in the first video about what I meant about a real parallel time slip right here in this house with these clocks. Okay? And let me stay focused. It's exciting. It's important to document. I'm doing this like making a record. Like I'm trying to make a record of time, what happened to me. So when I'm dead and gone, because the way it's going now, with the book not even selling, no one even caring, you got to have ratings. I'm not getting anywhere so far, but at least the records will be down for you. That you who are listening to me right now, I swore in this book on my mother's and sister's sacred graves that I'm telling you the truth. I was there that day, that second week of October 2011. I witnessed this, and so did another driver. We'll get into that right now. So we're going along, I see that. Okay. Then I believe, I'm a little confused because I don't remember if I saw Planet Nibiru first towards the west, in front of me, up high, and it was far away, but it was super bright red. I mean, it's hard to describe. It's not like a yellow, bright sun thing. Nothing like that. It was like a pure red, I'm going to call it phosphorus, super bright red ball. And I'll be honest with you, I couldn't really make out the wings that were on side of it, you know, the winged globe, right? In the ancient Samaritan texts that people have saw just like me in the past, 3,000 something years ago. I couldn't really make it, but I saw enough else. The next thing was, I believe it was the swirling gold cloud that was swirling like an out of control tornado. Absolutely beautiful. I saw more gold than you people or anybody else on this planet will ever see. We're talking about an entire sky filled with swirling fast, but it was moving like a twist, like, you know, almost had a cool movement to it, and it was up and over the sun. It was beautiful. You could tell it was slightly charged with like sparkles and a little lightning in there, you know, from gold. You know how that is with electricity and gold. Well, Nibiru was off towards the west in front of me, which I'm thankful for, and I want to stop and say that because there are people that know that that thing's like supposed to be 3 or 4 times the size of our Earth, which I'm thankful. And it looked like about the full moon on a normal full moon, where it's just up there in the sky looking good, you know, and not that big, but a little further maybe than that, or a little smaller, you know. To me, it was about the size of my end of my thumb as far as distance goes off. It was quite a ways away, but the brilliance of it was unmistakable. And what because they came long ago and mined all the gold in Africa to repair their atmosphere, this is all in the ancient texts right in front of everyone's faces if they want to look, or just read the 12th Planet by, and Billy Carson does a good job too. He's quite intelligent and he's done a lot of studying. We agree pretty much. I'm a Christian for 42 years, and I know he loves God in his own way, but me, I'm a little bit older. I'll be 68 next year. Well, excuse me, next month, September 11th. I'd like to go into you about the prophecy and Hopi and how I'm connected in it. And I'll just say one thing. That was on the second week of October. Will you back up to my birthday on September 11th, about 3 weeks earlier? A perfect triangle of comets. Comet Elenin, Comet Honda, and Comet Levi were in a perfect triangle. And the astronomers were all talking about this, Richard C. Hoagland. Anyway, you can see how hard it is for me to talk to you about something that's been a part of my life since 2011, because I got poo-pooed in 2011. There's a good chance I'll get poo-pooed in 2024. I don't know. There's got to be somebody with common sense out there that could tell I'm not lying. I was a successful businessman. My house is paid for. You know, I just take care of my deer ranch here up in the gold country. So anyway, that gold that I was talking about, that it was pulled off, a substance, a part of it was pulled off and caught up with this horrible satellite and this gold cloud. See, because remember I was saying Nibiru was towards the west. Towards the south, it was like what this was coming up with this horrible satellite I'll describe. But the swirling, see, it was their atmosphere, a little bit of that chunk of gold, which is more gold than anyone in this world will ever even imagine to see, when you can fill an entire sky with a tornado of gold. Come on, how many bricks of gold is that, baby? Huh? That you couldn't build a place to put it all in. It'd have to be in 120 different places, if even that. It was wild. It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. The gold, the sparkles, that much. And I knew what it was, you know. And I was prepared from this since 06, between 06 and 07, I made my handheld sextant. I had an official regular sextant. It was a gift to me from my old treasure hunting buddies. But I wanted a handheld one made that I made, and I did make it. And so I was up on my roof and I was calculating between 6 and 7 that it was off 5 or 6 degrees. And then I mentioned, you know, in the book I was contacting, I didn't say the names in the book, but it was Robert Ghostwolf. He was passed away then, but I was still good friends with Shoshana Shirley Ellison, and I contacted her then. So that's a good backup reference, but I can't get a hold of her anymore. I don't know if she changed her phone number or what. Anyway, I got to stay focused. I only have about maybe 20 minutes here at the most. So this swirling gold, I think that was next. First it must have been that. I really don't know. It's been so long, and it doesn't really matter, but I can tell you, if I meditate on it long enough, I would probably remember. But you know, this was in 2011. Okay, it's a ways ago. I'm a long time retired, but there was the Nibiru off, just making a move like this, you know, and I didn't see it for a long time. It was like this. It was in my pattern. I saw it up towards, straight ahead of me, towards the left a little bit, but the motion was just going like that. And I saw that beautiful red fiery ball. You know, like I say, I couldn't really make out the wings very good. And then it was just gone, because it was in its own trajectory, away from the satellite, away from the swirling gold cloud particles. It was amazing. And then it was like, you know, it had a beautiful movement of swirls, and then up and over, you know, it was out of control with the, you know, it was so cool. I'll never forget it. I need no notes. I'm just taking myself back, you know, in that day in the truck. So, and that went up over, and then it was the worst scary thing was this satellite that was coming from the south, okay, and low. and and I might add that the whole time slip that was going on with those two suns were ramped up, that it was distorting things a little bit. There, when I try to think back all these years, I don't know what direction I was heading. I do, because I'm a trucker. I was heading west going home, but the whole segment, the world, it was like almost twisted a little bit. Like I didn't know what sides were coming, but I do know the distances. If I take myself back to no Nibiru, it was Planet Nibiru off towards the west. It was coming from my south, was the gold particles. And I don't know how many satellites this thing carries along with it, but this one carried along one ugly one, and it looked like looking into a burned out volcano. I was so close to this, so close that I could see it as clear as our clouds. I could see the clouds in it. There was a few lightning bolts going through it. Anyway, it starts out about the size of a basketball, stretched out in front of my hand, okay? And it's coming at me low, and it goes up in 4 segments. And by the time it hit the top segment, before she rolled over that sun, you know, and be gone for another 3,000 years, it filled the entire sky. Could not see any blue or gray or anything of that day, that lightning strike day. Couldn't see any of that. It was just massive, dark clouds. That's how close it was to our planet. And one of those satellites is what's destroyed Tiamat. I call it, I don't remember what I call it in the book. I call it a different name because I was excited. I'm an old retired truck driver. I sat down for 3 months, non-stop, 7 days a week, and put a whole lot of stuff in there. We'll get into it. I got to keep going. We're running out of time here. And so it came up and it went over. But that was so close, and I thought, and all that this was going on, the hoopla, the hype, the NASA, the people calling in, saying they saw 2 suns. One guy claims his brother or cousin worked at NASA or a Hubble telescope or something, do official place, and he had saw it, and he's describing it on the internet. You know, they saw it through the telescope. I wanted to say that they closed that telescope down not long after that, quite quickly, okay? In 1999, I believe it was, NASA came forward and started describing, hey, we think there's another planet that's going to be rolling in, you know. They all knew about it. They had their underground bases and everything. It was all comfy, but it happened so fast. I don't know the speed. Who knows? We're talking about something way up there by the sun, but it would just, they came up about like this, and then over, about that speed. From me, how far that was away, I don't know. 20 miles, 100 miles up. No matter, I could see it as clear as day when it blew up to be the full magnificent. So it was closer, it got closer, it came far, it was far away, it was smaller. Got bigger, 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 but it looked like to me it was going like this because it was up and over the sun. And it just filled the entire sky, and that was like, whoa, you know. And deep down I knew, because whether it's treasure or whatever it is, I'm always prepared for it before time. My ESP, you know, Spirit Brother to the Hopi, whatever, in God. I've been trained since I was a little kid to be with the Native Americans and love them. And I don't want to get, maybe there'll be a third video that I talk something about that. That's very personal to me and stuff, and the events that led me to know that I was that person. I'm not just making up. I'm not a delusional person. I'm a successful businessman in the trucking. I own my own business. 27 years. And then California took the truck away, you know, for the muffler thing. What haven't they taken away? We keep praying. That's our hope. Let me stay focused here. So when that went up over, it was like, okay, it's gone. The sun already went down. You know, the parallel time slip, 2 suns, it went down, it was gone, it was over. The satellite came up and went over. This would make one heck of a movie. It's not so much of a money thing. You know, don't think that. I have everything I want already. This is for you guys. I'm putting my money out here now. $6 grand for this book, $6,000 to put it in bookstores, another $6,000 to put it in bookstores and podcasts. I've got like 2 more to do, and that's it. Taking my money out of my checking accounts that At the end of the month, the CD's due. Turning in all that. No one's notifying me. No one's contacting me. We'll get into that here. I got 10 minutes left. Let me finish up with this driver coming alongside me out there. And so, I'm just going along. And there's not a lot of traffic out there that day. That I will say. So lo and behold, I'm looking in my mirrors and I'm just waiting for someone. And lo and behold, here comes this wonderful, beautiful truck driver. Oh, man. I don't remember if it was a cab over. I don't think it was. It could have been a Volvo, you know, the conventional newer type. No, not the old school, the newer type, you know. I don't remember what it was. But I slowed right down to 45 miles an hour, and I'm looking at him, you know, as he's coming up, because I want to see what he's going to do. I want to see what's on his face. I want to see what he thinks of all this little episode. He slows right down. He matches me my speed. They don't do that out there. When you slow down, the trucker, they come around and they're gone. You know, they know they're a lot faster than you, younger. And I'm an old grandpa since the day I got started at 25 years old, trucking. So 42 years. No, excuse me, 39 and a half. 42 years as being a Christian. You get older, I forget. So, and he looks at me. He looks over at me. We're both stunned because we know we just went through something crazy. I couldn't talk to him on that CB. I don't even think if I wanted to. I was just sort of like in suspended animation there after seeing all that. You know what I mean? And I'm looking at him just kind of freaking. He's looking at me, and all I could do, and I felt so good inside. I was in such peace, like finding a treasure. You know, just something to do with the ancient past. It's not so much the gold. It's not so much the treasure. It's the ancient past. I love hooking up with the past. You know, September 11th is my birthday. It's in my blood. Okay, I told you about the triangle. It goes all the way back even to the 4th grade. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there right now. So anyway, he passes his. I just shook my head and I just nodded to him and smiled because I was in such awe, such a peace, like seeing that UFO that I put in the book. And I'll hurry up because we're running out of time here. 9 minutes left or so, maybe less. I want to keep it more together because I got carried away in the first one, and I apologize for that. But I could sit you down, talk to you for 3 weeks straight every day. Ask my kids. UFO encounters up close. Come visit me. Okay? Right out here in front of the house, 50 feet. The one in 2000 was a comet, turned around, made a U-turn, and came right back at me and pulled me over where there was a little helicopter landing area out in Chowchilla, just south of the scales. And I pulled over. They knew that, and I knew that for years. You had to slam your brakes on quick and go over and hop out, you know, for an emergency. Whatever. Anyway, I talk like a truck driver. Even though I'm 3 generations, baby. Grandpa drove a 1928 Fagel, okay, truck and trailer. I got 2 rides in that as a kid way back in the 60s. It would still run. And I would just get in it. The boards were missing on the floor. You could see the ground, the dirt under you, and it would shake and rattle, you know. Had a crank.